Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of What Happened. Today we're diving into one of the most chaotic tournament preparations in FIFA World Cup history. And honestly, this story has everything: political meltdowns, boycott calls from legendary former officials, ticket prices that make concert scalpers look reasonable, and international diplomatic crises that threaten to tear apart what was supposed to be a celebration of unity. We're talking about the 2026 FIFA World Cup, the tournament that was meant to showcase North American cooperation and become the biggest World Cup ever with 48 teams. Instead, it's become a masterclass in how politics, corporate greed, and terrible timing can turn a global celebration into an international incident. So grab your passports, if you can still use them, because we're about to explore how the America-Canada-Mexico World Cup went from a symbol of continental unity to what critics are calling the most controversial tournament in modern FIFA history. And trust me, when even former FIFA president Sepp Blatter is calling for boycotts, you know things have gone completely off the rails. Let me start with the irony of this entire situation, because it's almost too perfect. Back in 2018, when the United bid was announced, the theme was literally the unity of the three nations. Carlos Cordero, then president of the U.S. Soccer Federation, called it a powerful message about North American cooperation. They beat Morocco's bid with a promise of seamless cross-border collaboration and the largest, most inclusive World Cup in history. Fast forward to 2026, and we're less than 6 months from kickoff dealing with travel bans, military threats between host countries, and the spectacle of the sitting U.S. president openly discussing annexing one of his co-hosts. It's like watching a diplomatic disaster movie where every decision makes things worse. But before we get to the political chaos, we need to talk about the scandal that's been building for months. The ticket pricing controversy that has fans worldwide calling FIFA everything from scalpers to extortionists. Because this isn't just expensive, this is redefine what expensive means expensive. When FIFA released their initial pricing structure, the reaction was immediate and brutal. We're talking about final tickets starting at over $4,000 and going up to nearly $9,000 for premium seats. Group stage matches were priced up to $700 for seats behind the goal. To put this in perspective, that's up to 7 times more expensive than comparable seats at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. Football Supporters Europe, one of the largest fan organizations in the world, didn't mince words. They called the pricing extortionate and demanded FIFA immediately halt ticket sales. The English Football Association shared numbers showing that following England through to the final would cost fans over $7,000 just for tickets, not including travel, accommodation, or food. Brian Hexel, president of the American Outlaws, the major U.S. soccer supporters group, called the prices absolutely insane and said his biggest fear was that FIFA has actually stopped the growing of the sport in the U.S. Think about that. The tournament meant to grow soccer in America might actually kill its momentum, because real fans can afford to attend. But here's where it gets even more outrageous. FIFA isn't just charging these massive prices. They've also implemented what critics are calling an official scalping operation. In the United States and Canada, FIFA is legally allowed to run their own resale platform where they take a 30% cut of every secondary sale. Let me break down how this works, because it's genuinely shocking. Say someone wants to sell their ticket for $1,000 on FIFA's official resale site. The buyer would actually pay $1,150, with that extra $150 going straight to FIFA. But the original seller doesn't get their full $1,000. They only receive $850, with FIFA taking another $150 as a selling fee. So FIFA makes $300 profit on a single $1,000 resale, while doing literally nothing except providing the platform. FIFA President Gianni Infantino has been shameless about this system. Speaking at the World Economic Forum in Davos, he basically admitted that tickets would be even more expensive on resale sites and said it was perfectly legal in the United States. When your defense is, it's technically not illegal, you know you're on morally questionable ground. The numbers are staggering. FIFA is expecting to make over $13 billion from this tournament, with ticket revenue being just one piece of a massive money-making machine. But at what cost? Longtime fans are being priced out of the sport's biggest event, replaced by corporate clients who can afford premium hospitality packages. After months of global backlash, FIFA finally introduced what they call a supporter entry tier. $60 tickets for every match, including the final. Sounds great, right? Wrong. These cheaper tickets represent only about 1.6% of total allocation. We're talking hundreds of tickets per game, not thousands. It's like throwing a life preserver to a drowning ship. Technically helpful, but nowhere near sufficient to solve the problem. The fan reaction has been predictably angry. Social media is full of supporters saying they're being bled dry, and that FIFA is treating the World Cup like any other commercial product, instead of recognizing it as a global cultural event that depends on passionate fans, not just wealthy tourists. But the ticket scandal is just the appetizer to the main course of chaos, the political meltdown that's turned this tournament into a diplomatic nightmare. And it all centers around one man whose return to power has single-handedly destabilized what was supposed to be a celebration of international cooperation. Donald Trump's second presidency has created unprecedented challenges for a World Cup that requires seamless cooperation between three countries. His administration has imposed travel bans affecting fans from qualified teams, threatened military action against co-host Mexico, and created such international tension that even former FIFA officials are calling for boycotts. But the travel restrictions are just one piece of international chaos. Trump's administration has conducted military operations in Venezuela and Nigeria while discussing potential actions against Greenland, Colombia, and Iran. His broader foreign policy has created what critics call a hostile environment for international visitors. The travel ban situation is particularly problematic. Trump announced restrictions affecting citizens from 19 countries, including qualified teams Haiti and Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast manager Immerse Faye had to publicly plead, saying, "It would be a real shame not to let our supporters come and experience this celebration." But it gets more surreal. Trump is threatening one of his own co-hosts, making comments about Mexico becoming the 51st state and discussing military action against cartels. You can't make this up. One host country president is threatening to invade another host country. The international reaction has been swift and severe. 23 politicians from 4 UK parties, Labour, Liberal Democrats, Green Party, and Plaid Cymru, signed a parliamentary motion calling for the United States to be expelled from major international sporting competitions. Their statement said the World Cup should not be used to legitimize or normalize violations of international law by powerful states. Former Sky Sports presenter Jeff Stelling suggested the tournament should be moved to the UK, saying it was irresponsible for FIFA to allow the United States to host under current circumstances. The fact that serious people are discussing relocating the World Cup 6 months before it starts shows how unprecedented this situation has become. And then came the bombshell that nobody saw coming. Sepp Blatter? Yes, that's Sepp Blatter, the former FIFA president who was banned for ethics violations and has become a symbol of FIFA corruption, called for a boycott of the tournament. When Sepp Blatter thinks your World Cup has ethics problems, you know things have gone completely sideways. Okay, Gottlieb, vice president of the German Soccer Federation, told newspapers that it was time to seriously consider boycotting the World Cup. German football officials talking about boycotts is huge. Germany is one of the most powerful voices in international soccer, and if they pulled out, it would create a domino effect across Europe. The boycott calls aren't just coming from officials. Social media campaigns are gaining momentum worldwide, with fans citing everything from safety concerns to moral objections to supporting what they see as an increasingly authoritarian host nation. The hashtag campaigns are spreading across multiple countries, suggesting this isn't just isolated criticism, but a genuine international movement. FIFA's response to all this chaos has been interesting. Instead of addressing the concerns head-on, they've doubled down on their support for Trump. Infantino has met with Trump at least 5 times since the election, often posting about their meetings on social media like they're best friends planning a barbecue. In what might be the most tone-deaf decision in recent FIFA history, they awarded Trump the inaugural FIFA Peace Prize in 2025. Yes, you read that right. FIFA gave a peace prize to the president whose foreign policy is creating international chaos that threatens their own tournament. The irony is so thick you could cut it with a knife. The practical implications of this political chaos are starting to show. Hotel bookings in host cities have reportedly slowed, ticket resale prices are dropping in some markets, and tourism officials are quietly expressing concerns about whether international visitors will actually show up in the expected numbers. The 3 host countries are trying to maintain some semblance of cooperation, but the cracks are showing. Gabriela Cuevas, who represents Mexico's government in FIFA meetings, has tried to keep the politics separate from the tournament, saying the World Cup could be a route to engage in conversation. But it's hard to have conversations when one party is threatening military action against the other. The practical challenges are enormous. The tournament requires seamless movement across 3 countries, but when you have travel restrictions and diplomatic tensions, cooperation becomes complicated. Security normally involves local police coordination, but now you're dealing with potential diplomatic incidents and international fans afraid to travel. Host cities signed up expecting massive economic benefits, but are on the hook for $100 to $200 million each in costs. Missouri alone is losing over $11 million in sales tax revenue from 6 matches, money that would normally fund education and healthcare. The Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy published a scathing analysis showing that 12 of the last 14 World Cups have resulted in financial losses for host countries, with the last 3 tournaments having an average return on investment of negative 31%. They pointedly asked, when FIFA demands so much from host cities, what does it mean to be a good guest? As we get closer to June, the situation keeps deteriorating. Reports suggest over 16,000 tickets have been canceled, with 70% still unsold. FIFA disputes these numbers, but the concern is real enough to generate widespread cancellation reports. The tragedy is that this tournament was supposed to represent something positive. 48 teams for inclusivity, growing soccer in new markets, innovative 3-country cooperation. Instead, it's become a case study in how political chaos and corporate greed can corrupt beloved institutions. The human cost is heartbreaking. Fans have saved for years to attend their first World Cup. Players have dedicated careers to representing their countries. Host cities made massive investments, all overshadowed by pricing scandals and boycott calls that have nothing to do with the beautiful game itself. As we write this, there are still 5 months until the tournament begins. FIFA continues to insist everything will proceed as planned. Host cities are making final preparations, and teams are focusing on qualifying and preparation. But the cloud of controversy isn't lifting. If anything, it's getting darker. The fundamental question remains, can a tournament succeed when it's become this politically controversial? FIFA is betting that once the games begin, the focus will shift to soccer and the political issues will fade into the background. Critics argue that the damage is already done and that this World Cup will forever be remembered more for its controversies than its competitions. That's what happened to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. How the tournament meant to showcase North American unity became a symbol of political division, corporate excess, and missed opportunities. It's a perfect example of how even the most popular global events can be undermined when politics and profit take precedence over the values they're supposed to represent. Thanks for watching this episode, guys. This World Cup situation is honestly one of those stories that gets crazier every time you dig deeper. What started as a ticketing controversy has mushroomed into this massive international incident involving former FIFA presidents, parliamentary motions, and diplomatic crises. What strikes me most about this story is how it perfectly captures the tensions of our current moment between corporate profits and fan accessibility, between national politics and international cooperation, between sporting ideals and political reality. The World Cup is supposed to bring people together, but this one seems to be pulling them apart. What do you think? Should international fans boycott the tournament over these issues, or is the soccer itself more important than the political controversies surrounding it? Do you think FIFA will learn any lessons from this chaos, or are they too focused on profits to care about fan concerns? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell for more deep dives into the stories that are shaping our world. I'll catch you in the next episode, and remember, sometimes the biggest scandals happen before the first ball is even kicked.